Hey guys, this is Kristen with the Hiss'n Kitten Waxing Center. I'm going to talk to you about the most painful places to wax. Now, before I dive into it, if any of y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment down below, and subscribe. Also, if y'all are on Facebook and you're either a licensed professional or currently in SD or Cosmos school, and you like joining groups, then feel free to join Wax Club. It is for professionals only, but it's a great support group for anyone who's interested. So, okay, this is a fun one. What are the most painful places to get waxed? So when I tell somebody that I'm a waxer, I'm an esthetician, that's always like one of the first things, like, oh my gosh, what hurts the most? Thought I'd make a video on it. Okay, so for me, this is all my opinion, obviously. Some people might think differently, but I have 4 major areas of the body that I think hurt the worst. Okay, first things first, the lovely Brazilian wax. Love a Brazilian, but especially your first one. The first one is going to be the most painful, which is bad at first, but then good afterwards if you stick with it. There's a lot of nerve endings down there. So of course, the more nerve endings you have, the more painful it gets, but it gets better. That's one thing that I love about waxing is if you stick with it, it kills off the hair follicles. Not all of them, but it kills off more follicles each time you wax. So if you continue waxing, less hair grows back each time, which means that it gets easier and hurts less. I mean, I've been waxing for, like 14 years now. And I have like a 1/16 of what I used to have when I first started. So now it's like no big deal at all. But yeah, it definitely gets better. Also, whenever like you lay a strip, you remove it, it only hurts for a second. So it's not like a prolonged pain. So if the entire Brazilian takes 15 minutes, you're only going to be actually feeling pain for seconds out of that 15 minutes. It's not just going to be like constant pain the entire time. Also, I like to put pressure right after I pull a strip. So think of it this way, like whenever you stub your toe or like bang your elbow, the first thing you do is like you grab it, right? I do the same thing with my wax while waxing my clients. So if I'm waxing a Brazilian, then I'll put pressure on it immediately after for a couple seconds. And so far everyone has loved that. I've been doing that since I can remember, European Wax Center, a long time ago. But yeah, that also helps with comfort for your clients. So if you don't do that, I definitely recommend trying that because everyone has loved that. But yeah, the first one's the worst. Second one, and from there on out, it gets easier. I always tell my people, if you get a Brazilian wax, don't let the first one scare you away. At least give it one more wax. Then you can do what you want, but you gotta at least try it twice. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, yeah, the second one is so much easier than the first one. So just hang in there, you can do it. Okay, now number 2, the upper lip. If you have seen any of my videos where I'm waxing my upper lip, you know that I am such a baby and I absolutely hate waxing my upper lip. I would rather wax my own Brazilian than wax my upper lip. I hate it that much. There's again a lot of nerve endings on your upper lip. And I'm always shocked by like how much hair I can pull out, which is just bleh. But it's the good thing about the upper lip is that it's small, right? So for me, it only takes me 4 strips. So I'll do 1, 2, and then I'll do 2 cleanup strips, 3, 4. So it's, I mean, all of a couple minutes. And most of that's just me waiting for the wax to cool to pull off. So it's super fast, which is really good. I haven't noticed that get easier the more that I do it, but I'm definitely not as consistent with waxing my upper lip as say like Brazilian or underarm, something like that. So that could be part of my problem because I am just a baby and don't do it consistently. Or it could just be because the hair just doesn't really thin out and it just, what grows back in, and that's it. Not totally sure for that one, but haven't found that one to get any easier. Also, one thing with your upper lip, make sure not to touch it. I always have this weird, strong desire to touch my face after I wax my face, which is how you introduce dirt and infection and bacteria and stuff like that. So no touching for the rest of the day. You just don't want to infect a freshly waxed area. Keep it nice and clean. But like I said, the upper lip is so quick, so it is still definitely worth it. I would highly recommend people to wax their upper lip if they feel like they need to. So don't let the pain of that scare you away. It's so fast. So it's not that big of a deal. Okay, next is going to be the back of the neck. So that is this area right here. Like a lot of women get these little strings waxed. And then some people have hair that goes like, you know, grows down more on the back of the neck. This area actually really surprised me. Did not expect this to hurt. So I've only had that waxed one time. And that was way back when I used to work at European Wax Center. One of the other waxers was like, "Hey, Kristen, let me wax the back of your neck." And I was like, "Sure, go for it." She told me it wasn't that painful. So I let her do it, and holy moly, that sucked. That was awful. So much so that I never did it again. So no idea if that gets easier or not, because I'm too chicken to try it again. And what was worse is that because I kept forgetting that I had that wax that day. And, you know, sometimes when especially if it's the first wax, it can feel like irritated and almost itchy. And so like throughout the day, I kept like reaching back and scratching it. And then I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And I would like yelp in pain. I realize now that that waxer was just being a jerk and totally tricked me into waxing the back of my neck. Anyway, yeah, so definitely did not do that again. But yeah, some people, I've had clients that do it every 3 weeks and they love it. So more power to you. I'm just a chicken and will not do that again. Also, it's not something that I can do myself if I really wanted to. And I just wax myself instead of going to someone else. So that's just not going to work for me. Okay, lastly is the legs. Now, the entire leg isn't that bad. It's really because there is so much surface area that has to be waxed, and you have two of them, which makes it worse. So the period of getting hair pulled out is so much longer than any other service. So because of that, you're having to deal with it for a longer period of time. But in general, the whole leg isn't that bad. I would say the worst part on the leg, at least for me, was around the ankles. And then like the back of the knee area always got me a lot. But yeah, it because it takes, 30 to 45 minutes compared to like a 10-minute Brazilian, you just have to deal with it longer. And also the strips, so for a leg, I would lay like one long strip down the whole front of the thigh, and sometimes even going over the knee. So instead of like a strip being ripped off really fast, it's still being ripped off fast, but it's being ripped off all over a longer area of skin. So the pain of that stays around longer, if that makes sense, compared to just a real fast like rip pressure. Again, it does get easier. First one's always the worst one. If you stick with it, the hair thins out, and that makes such a difference. So waxing legs is great. I've even had some people who like just do lower legs because their hair on their thighs is light. You can't really see it. But that definitely helps because that cuts the time down in half. But I'm again a baby, and I don't want to put myself through that every month. So I just shave. Probably shouldn't say that on a waxing video. But anyway, I hope this helps. So those are my 4 things: Brazilian, upper lip, back of the neck, and legs. But again, anything you get waxed, it gets easier. Don't let the first one scare you away. I promise you will get better. So I hope this helps. Any questions, let me know. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.